Joe is caught up in some unthinkable accusations via lawsuit from his former hype man. I'm pretty sure a lot of you have ran across this piece of news on your timelines. Fat Joe is being accused of allegedly being involved with underage females. What's going on, man? This just continues to happen. At some point, do we have a major situation going on in the industry, in this entertainment industry, Hollywood, music, recording industry, Hollywood, everything. It's always something. Now, this is all alleged. These accusations came down actually a couple days ago. So, as you know, Fat Joe and Jada are currently, they launched a podcast called Joe and Jada. And they had Jim Jones on there the other day. And he was basically talking about, Jim Jones was actually talking about, I guess his whole thing with people were asking him, is he, he's, why is it age appropriate for him to be dressing like he is? And is his music more directed to more youthful, youthful audience? Then Nas' name got in the subject some kind of way with as far as relevancy, and Jim Jones actually said that they showed some clips of some young guy who was talking about how they don't, when they go to, I guess they've never been anywhere where people will say, let's put that Nas on or whatever, but they do recognize Jim Jones' contributions as of late. You gotta remember, Nas dropped 6 albums with Hit Boy in 3.5 years. That's unprecedented. That's unheard of. And they're all quality albums. 2 series simultaneously. The King Disease series, and you have the Magic series. And all of those albums, to me, are superb. So it's a different audience that Nas is approaching now. Nas is doing more age appropriate, or some would say age appropriate music. Jim is still doing music, but he's in this zone where he wants that youthful audience. He wants to be in that algorithm with the youth, and a newer sound or something to that effect. Not saying Nas' sound is dated or anything. I mean, we have his classics and stuff, but he's put out some quality music, and I just don't see how Jim can actually say that Nas' catalog, his catalog stands right next to Nas, or probably even better on billboards. Jim is saying, if you put my entries up and compare them to Nas' entries on billboards, he's probably more relevant or more lit, as they say. But I think Jim comparing his catalogs to Nas' catalog is insane. Now, Jim's got better in rapping, but he's not the lyricist. Even his last album, it's okay, but lyrically it's not there. And I don't think Jim would even try to compare himself lyrically to Nas. I think he thinks he has more emotion than Nas. I just don't see that either. If I'm comparing both of them, they in their own lanes and they doing their own thing. Jim chooses to do his type of music. Nas is doing his type of music, and I don't see where you got to tear down one person to big yourself up. I never understood that, but I guess that's the norm these days. Even Jadakiss said it on the podcast. He said, we just don't. This is the only genre, hip hop, that we don't big up our legends. We don't continue to prop them up and give them their just due, so to speak. And look, Jim, to his credit, he's not trashing Nas. He's making some lofty comparisons, but he's not trashing Nas. He's saying Nas, he's always looked up to Nas. He's looking at as far as the date and the gap in dates. He made a specific correlation to that as far as the gap part from when Nas was really, as far as 94 until now. So he's trying to put in a time frame as far as his career to Nas' career right now, who's making more impactful, relevant music for the streets or whatever. So, and I still disagree, to be honest with you. That King's Disease 3 and that Magic 3, you have that Magic 1, you have King's Disease 2, and of course the Grammy-winning King's Disease album. So, and there's some heat on those 6 albums. Quality albums. And so I just disagree. I mean, the guy just sold out the Garden a couple years ago and just on a King's Disease 3 album, just singing, performing songs on that album. So I don't know, Jim. I get it, but I know you're not trying to trash Nas, but I just don't see that comparison as far as your entries to Nas' entries on billboards. I don't think the numbers will add up. I think Nas will have the better numbers if you're going there. As far as music, I think y'all just in two different lanes. And Nas make music for his lane and his fans, and you making music for your fans, and you're trying to get to another younger demographic. I think Nas' music stands the test of time. If you look at his catalog, which you didn't understand then, makes a lot of sense probably now if you go back and revisit some of these albums. As he put, people will say duds or whatever. Yeah, I mean, everybody do. You know what I mean? But I still think they pigeonholed Nas to one particular era. And he addressed that in his Magic album, Woo for the Children. He addressed it so eloquently. And but Jim, he has his points. He has his thoughts on things, and but like he said, Jim understands the algorithm. He wants to stay in the algorithm, and any insane thing that people might think he's saying, it works for him. I mean, he said the same. What he said, that Styles P can't mess with him in the verses. He can, so then Pusha T. It's crazy. He has these are legends. The Jim is like saying that he's a little bit more relevant than them right at this point. But I don't see that. I'm not gonna say Jim's delusional. I think he knows what he's doing. I think he does things to get that feedback and get traction and keeps his name in there. And I get it's marketing. Nothing wrong with that. However lofty and outrageous the claims may be. But it is what it is. Vanguardian 650. Have a good night. Peace.